In the heart of a vast countryside, where rolling hills stretched for miles and the scent of fresh earth filled the air, lived a simple man named Ethan. His life was rooted in the land. He rose with the sun and worked until dusk on his family's farm, content with the quiet beauty and steady pace of rural life. For him, the rhythm of the seasons was as familiar as his own heartbeat. Meanwhile, in the bustling heart of the city, there was Sophia. She was a bright, ambitious woman, always on the move, navigating skyscrapers, corporate meetings, and crowded streets. Raised in a world of lights, speed, and noise, she thrived on the challenges of her high-powered career in marketing. Her family had always pushed her toward success, expecting nothing less than the best. She had the perfect city life, or so it seemed. Their worlds couldn't have been more different, but fate has a funny way of bringing opposites together. One summer, Sophia, feeling burnt out by the city's relentless pace, decided to take a break. Her friend had convinced her to attend a rural retreat out in the country where the focus was on relaxation and reconnecting with nature. Though hesitant at first, Sophia found herself booking a small cabin, miles away from anything she knew. Ethan's farm happened to be near the retreat. They met by chance one morning when Sophia, lost in the quiet expanse of nature, wandered onto his property. He was out tending to his fields when he saw her, looking completely out of place in her city clothes but with a look of awe in her eyes as she gazed across the landscape. "You're on private land," Ethan called out, but there was no anger in his voice, just amusement. Sophia, startled, turned and smiled sheepishly. "Sorry, I'm not used to all this space. I didn't realize." He chuckled, shaking his head. "I figured. City folk don't usually wander this far out." They talked for a while, Sophia asking questions about the farm and life in the country, Ethan answering with a kind of grounded wisdom that intrigued her. She found herself coming back to the farm often during her retreat, always finding some excuse to visit, whether it was to buy fresh produce, ask for directions, or simply to see him again. Ethan, too, found himself looking forward to her visits, drawn to her curiosity and the spark in her eyes when they talked. Over time, their conversations deepened. What started as simple small talk grew into something more. They shared their hopes, dreams, and fears. Ethan told her about the land, his family's history with it, and the peace he found in the simplicity of country life. Sophia spoke of her city life, her ambitions, and the pressure she constantly felt to keep climbing higher. Before long, the spark between them turned into something undeniable. Despite their differences, they found themselves falling for each other. Sophia captivated by Ethan's warmth and steadfast nature, and Ethan enchanted by her energy and passion for life. It was a love neither of them expected, but couldn't resist. But not everyone was as accepting of their relationship. Sophia's friends and family were appalled when they found out she was seeing some country farmer. Her parents, who had always envisioned her with a wealthy businessman, couldn't understand what she saw in Ethan. Her friends made jokes about her rural fling, assuming it would pass when she got back to the city. They couldn't fathom the idea of Sophia giving up her successful life for something as foreign as life on a farm. On Ethan's side, things weren't much better. His friends and family didn't trust city people. They found them arrogant and disconnected from the real world. They warned Ethan that Sophia wouldn't last in the country, that she'd grow bored and leave him once the novelty wore off. His brother, who worked the farm with him, was especially wary, reminding Ethan that their life was hard and that a city girl like Sophia wouldn't understand or be able to handle it. The weight of their families' and friends' disapproval began to strain their relationship. Sophia, torn between her love for Ethan and the life she had built in the city, found herself doubting whether they could ever truly make it work. Ethan, too, began to worry. He didn't want to be the reason she gave up everything she had worked for. One evening, as the sun set over the golden fields, Sophia stood on the edge of Ethan's farm, looking out over the land that had become so dear to her. Ethan joined her, his hands rough from the day's work, yet gentle as he took hers in his. "I don't want you to choose between me and your life," he said softly, "but I also can't pretend this isn't hard." Sophia's heart ached. She knew their love was real, but she also knew the sacrifices it would demand. Could she leave the city behind? Could she handle the challenges of farm life? And could Ethan truly be happy in her world? "I love you," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes, "but I'm scared." "So am I," Ethan admitted. "But maybe that's what makes it worth fighting for." They stood in silence, the weight of their decision hanging between them like the fading light of the day. In the end, love doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it asks you to take a leap of faith, to step into the unknown, and to trust that what you found is worth the risk. Sophia and Ethan knew their journey wouldn't be simple. Their families might never fully understand, and their friends might continue to question their choice. But in each other, they had found something rare, an undeniable connection, a love that transcended the boundaries of their two worlds. And together, they were willing to try, to build something new, somewhere between the city and the countryside,